Today's video is part of a playlist called 5 Under $5, hosted by Emily at Farm Charm Chic and
Lisa from Lovin's the Life.
Each project today is inspired by a different Christmas song. Missy at Crafty Cove DIY.
This is another Goodwill Bins find, so I'm going to remove the embellishments and the hanger, and we'll see what we can come up with.
First, I'm going to give the snowman himself a coat of black chalk paint, and his hat I'm going to give a coat of white chalk paint. Next, I'm going to add some folk art crackle medium, and I'm simply going to do that in long strokes, avoiding going over it too many times. Once that's completely dry, I'm going to paint over the snowman part with white chalk paint, and again, you want to use long strokes, avoiding brushing over the same area very much.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
Now I'm going to repeat the same process with the hat using black chalk paint.
Is that ever since July, I've been happier than I have ever been. It's safe to
Now I'm using a strip of plaid flannel to use as a scarf.
tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you.
I added on the original hanger, and this Frosty the Snowman is a jolly happy soul.
Just us and no one else. I've decorated everything to be perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. Cause all I wanna do is spend
This is a piece that I found at the Goodwill Bins. So looking at it, I think it's missing something off of here. So I'm gonna see if I can pull those little nails out and remove these little beads and the bells, and we'll see what we can make.
So I'm going to give the top part of the hat a coat of crimson by Waverly, just that top part above where I have that strip of tape. I'm also going to paint that strip white, although it's really not going to show. And then the second part of the painting process will be Santa's face, which I taped off there. And then the bottom part, we're actually going to add on some Spanish moss for his beard. I'm just attaching the Spanish moss in sections with hot glue and then giving it a little bit of a haircut.
tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down and the storm is on its way. But as long as you're
For the rest of Santa's hat, I'm using a scrap of an old rug that I had, and I'm going to cut that to fit and place it right as you see here.
holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you.
I added some button eyes and a little pink foam ball for his nose.
To have you for myself in a cabin out in nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything to be perfect for this week.
And finally, I'm going to add a pom-pom to the end of Santa's hat.
You and me. Another year went by, but the difference this time is that ever since July, I've been happier than I have ever been. It's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this moment to have you for myself in a cabin out in nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated
this project, I'm using 3 paperback books with the covers removed. I'm going to be stamping on 2 of them, and I'm going to be stamping the word Stille Nacht, which is German for Silent Night. I am stamping backwards, and I'm stamping the second book first. Once that book is complete, I'll start on the top book, and again, working backwards. Now for the third book, I'm using a piece of Silent Night that I took out of an old hymnal, and I'm going to be gluing that onto the cover, or as the cover of this book, and so that you can see the name of the song on the edge. And here's how they look all together. Using another copy of Silent Night, I'm going to be tearing around the edges so that it will fit on the top of the first book. Now I will adhere that piece of music to the top of the book using a glue stick. I'm using a couple of sprigs of Christmas greenery and some blackberries that I found at Dollar Tree. I'm going to attach them together using jute twine, and I'm just wrapping that all around the end. Once that's complete, I'm going to wrap jute twine around all 3 of the books with the sprig of greenery as well, and then tie a bow. I think this is a lovely addition to any neutral Christmas decor. If you're still watching, let me know by leaving me a snowman emoji in the comment section below.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I longed for this moment to have you for myself, in a cabin out in nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything.
I soaked some just regular copy paper in some tea and old coffee. I just really wet the tea bag and then wiped it over all of the paper. Now I'm going to iron them to make them a little flatter so that I can put them through my printer.
I placed each piece of paper between 2 pieces of parchment paper and then just ironed them so that they would be flat.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you.
Now they're ready to go in my printer.
I took my very favorite Oxford Book of Carols and I printed out Children's Song of the Nativity, or How Far Is It to Bethlehem, and I printed it so that there are 2 on each page, and then I copied it onto my coffee and tea stained paper.
This is a banner that I'm going to be using just to make the paper a little bit stiffer. It's originally from Target, but I got it at a thrift store for 50 cents. So I'm going to trace around the banner on each of the pieces of music and then trim off the excess.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. The snow is falling down.
Once they're all cut out, I'm going to adhere them onto the back of the banner with a glue stick.
Everything will be okay, 'cause all I wanna do is spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you.
Since I am using this as a banner, I need to go back and punch out those holes again. Now I'm going to be using a couple of transfers from this IOD Holly Glen transfer book. I chose to use the ones that have the possums because the possums didn't really appeal to me, so I'm just using the greenery that was around them. I cut out various pieces of the transfer and then just placed them in the corner of each banner tag.
Since July, I've been happier than I have ever been.
Now they're ready to be strung on some jute twine and hung.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. How longed for.
I added a sprig of greenery and red berries to each end of the banner. If you're interested in purchasing any of my DIYs, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description box below, and you can check it out there, and it includes shipping, so really I'm just trying to replenish my craft supplies.
Tomorrow it is Christmas.
This piece is from a thrift store for $1.99, and these are just some scrap pieces of wood that I had in my stash. Now I'm going to use Waverly chalk paint and plaster just to cover up those words, and Waverly antique wax on the frame and just to wipe over that plaster chalk paint. I painted the two other pieces of wood with Waverly black ink, and then I glued them together as shown here. So as you can probably tell now, I'm making another snowman from Winter Wonderland. I used one of these round sponge brushes to make the eyes and the mouth, and the nose is actually some little pieces of wood that I found at a thrift store. I'm not sure what they're for, but I think they're cedar chips, and I just cut it to make the shape of his nose and glued that on with wood glue. Now I'm going to dry brush the hat with some white chalk paint.
But as long as you're around, everything will be okay.
Using a combination of wood glue and hot glue, I attached the hat to the top of the frame.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me.
I then made a bow with a strip of drop cloth and added some greenery.
To have you for myself in a cabin out in nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything till we're perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me. Another year went by, but the difference is
I'm going to add a tag and we'll pretend that he is Parson Brown.
I've been happier than I have ever been. It's safe to say that my love for you is true. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this moment to have you for myself in a cabin out in nowhere, just us and no one else.
Thanks again to all the ladies hosting today's challenge. Be sure and check out their channels in the description box below, along with the playlist. Thanks so much for watching. Share the chic. Bye now.